Good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting, February 20th, 2018. Call the meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of the meeting for public broadcast. I ask anyone else in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and address. Thank you, Elizabeth. I will now lead our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And clerk, please conduct a roll call.
Vice President Green.
Here.
President Kushmarek is absent. Councilor Boschman.
Present.
Councilor Clark.
Here.
Councilor Di Natale.
Here.
Councilor Donley.
Here.
Councilor Fleming.
Here.
Councilor Caddy.
Here.
Councilor Squalia.
Present.
Councilor Walsh.
Here.
Councilor Zarella.
Here.
Public forum. Anyone wishing to speak on a matter on the agenda may do so for not more than 2 minutes. If you are addressing a public hearing petition, you will have an opportunity to speak at that time. Please approach the center table and identify yourself by name and address for the record and the item number on the agenda which you are addressing. Does anyone wish to speak? Hi there.
Robert Fuller, 167 Blossom Street. Okay, I'm not exactly sure which item it is on here, but it's regarding the marijuana-related businesses. My understanding is that
Hold on, we need to find that.
majority, okay.
There's a number of them.
2818?
There's two. There's 1, 2, 3,
There's several.
4, 5, 6. There's 7 ordinances.
All right, at any rate, I'd kind of like to speak to all of them.
Okay.
Okay, my understanding is that City Council is against marijuana-related businesses in this city. What I don't understand is why. Okay, the majority of the councilors that I see here are all of the baby boom generation. Okay, I'm a baby boomer. We also, most of us, and none of us deny that at one time we at least tried smoking pot. Okay. The banning of a marijuana-related business in this city would be a huge mistake, because I honestly feel that these type of businesses would bring large amounts of tax dollars into the city, adding to the tax base. Right now, we have an excise tax in this city that brings in, what, a couple $1 million a year? Okay, estimated, I don't know. But it's not going where it's supposed to go. It's not going to the roads. It's going into the general fund. If we allow marijuana-related businesses to operate in the city of Fitchburg, the money that from the excise tax could be used for what it's supposed to be, the roads. It would also bring, like I said, more tax revenue into the city, where we could actually do something with the infrastructure here. We could do stuff. We could put more money into the schools. We could put money into the firehouses and the police department. So my question again is, why ban these businesses? Why not let them come in and raise the tax base? People in the city are tired of hearing, we don't have the money for these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Puller. Anyone else wishing to speak on any matters before us? Hearing none, we'll move on. Oral report from the Appointments Committee, which met earlier this evening. We had two new appointments before us. Fitchburg Housing Authority, term to expire March 1st, 2023, to fill the position of Mr. Paul Fontaine, whose appointment expires March 19th, 2018. That was, the recommendation was granted to Andy Van Hazinga. Trustee of the Public Burial Grounds, term to expire February 1st, 2020, to Miss Andrian Clark, and a reappointment to the Board of Health, term to expire January 1st, 2021, Mr. Ian Murray.
Motion to approve the Appointments Committee report.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve the oral report from the committees, the Appointments Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. A report from the Committee on Records, Counselor Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Jeopardy answer is, sorry about that. The committee has reviewed the minutes and they appear to be in order.
Motion to approve the Committee on Records.
I have a motion and second to approve the Committee on Records. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have no communications from His Honor the Mayor, and we have no communications from the department heads, so we'll move on to other communications which we received from the Department of Agricultural Resources and the Central Mass Mosquito Control Project. I believe you've had an opportunity to look those over, and we can place those on file with the clerk's office. All right, moving on to the Finance Committee. Counselor Di Natale?
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Finance met last Tuesday, February 13th. Took up 1818. They're being hereby is transferred within the sum of $30,000 to be transferred from assessor, personal services department head, and credited to assessor expenses, contracted services. That was held. 1918, order that the City of Fitchburg approves the expenditure of funds from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration Retail Standards Grant Program in the approximate amount of $3,000 for the purpose of said grant, which is to continue to provide funding for staff to attend FDA trainings, workshops, and seminars to maintain food inspection standards. That was adopted. 2018, order that the City of Fitchburg approves the expenditure of funds from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, Department of Fire Services grant in the approximate amount of $5,407 for the purpose of said grant, which is to continue to teach fire safety to children in elementary schools. 2118, order that was adopted. 2118, order that the City of Fitchburg approves the expenditure of funds from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, Department of Fire Services grant in the approximate amount of $2,813, which is to teach senior citizens about the importance of fire safety and avoiding, in particular, cooking and electrical fires. That was adopted. In 2318, Stephen Curry, Board of Health Director, to approve the attached Board of Health adopted fees for food service establishments based on the risk level of the food establishments. That was granted.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of the financial.
Second.
I have a motion and
23-18.
I have a motion and second to approve excluding 02318. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Move 2318 be amended so that level 3 risk establishments be charged $125 and level 4 $200.
Second.
I have a motion and second.
On the motion.
Speaking to the motion, Counselor Boishman.
I feel differently on level 3 and level 4, going down Marcus wants, is if the Board of Health was spending quite a few hours in a restaurant or a business, why should the taxpayers flip the bill for the restaurant owner? Why? If she spends 5-6 hours in there, at $50 an hour, that's $300. So why should the taxpayers flip the bill for a business? We all want a clean place to eat. We all want sanitary food. We all want everything right. For everything to be right, we have a Board of Health that should be doing their job. And that's their job, to go and inspect these places. And the fees are reasonable. It's not like we're going out of the whack here. I mean, some of these places, she spends 5 hours and they're paying $50. Come on. Right.
Counselor Caddy?
Just want to remind the council that we have a dual tax rate and our businesses are paying 114% of their assessment.
And I just want to tell council that we're going down every year on the dual tax rate. Every year we're going down. Since I've been on, we've been going down.
Thank you. Counselor Squalia?
The original level 3 was $200, and the vast majority of our current restaurants were paying $50 a year. So to increase that up 400%, that was a large jump. Whether or not, it's a small amount of dollars, it's really the increase is really rather substantial. When, the Board of Health can always come to us next year, and indeed, they recommended that they would come back next year to suggest another increase. So by lowering it from $200 to $125, that gives it a little bit more of a buffer. It's a little bit more of a step up as opposed to a giant leap. I just like.
Counselor Di Natale?
At the committee hearing last week, we unanimously adopted the fees as proposed. When I went home that evening, I thought it over, and I said to myself that the jump between a level 2 establishment, a level 3, and a level 4 is pretty substantial in terms of the gap. For those that were at the meeting or watched it, the Board of Health did communicate to the council that it's been over 20 years since there's been any changes to the structure. So the main onus behind these changes was reformation and modernization of how we provide services. I don't like to use the word equitable or fair, but in this case, I have to. It was communicated to us that the Board of Health was charging businesses substantial amounts of money a year for establishments that only required a fraction of their time. And conversely, there were businesses that required a lot of our time that were being charged far less. In the package that was provided to us, there are establishments that will see a significant decrease, there are establishments that will see a minor increase, and there are some establishments that will see a significant increase. Now, what significant means? A level 3 is a mom and pop restaurant, and they charge $50 right now. It would go up to, initially it was $200. I would like to have it met in the middle, $125, $75 increase. That's after over 20 years of no increases. Now, we communicated to the Board of Health, like we would any other department, that it is essential that we look at these fee structures every so many years, every couple of years, maybe 3 maximum, not 20 plus. Because the sticker shock of the increase to get us to where we're at today will cause some people to be gravely concerned. The $75 increase on a monthly basis is $6.25 a month. If you extrapolate it over the last 22 years where there's been no increases, it's $3.41 per year or 28 cents per month if we were to raise it every year up to where we're at now. That is not to discount the cost, but again, it's modernized now. The Board of Health stated at the meeting that they were charging businesses purely based on square footage and number of seats. So there were businesses that had very low risks of food preparation being charged exorbitant amounts, whereas businesses that required a lot of inspections were paying practically nothing. So this is supposed to align the city's fee structure with how much services these establishments provide based on the amount of food prep they do in manufacturing. There are going to be a lot of convenience stores that are going to see a decrease. There's actually a few restaurants that are going to see a substantial decrease as well because they were charged based on number of seats and square footage, not based on the food prep. I believe one establishment, for example, was paying almost $300, and now they would pay $125. There are a lot of establishments that were paying $50 that are now going to pay $125 because of the level of services that are demanded of them. This is an example of we need to be more vigilant with how we charge fees in this city to at least recoup the cost of what we incur as a result of the inspectional services. Now, the last thing I'll say is on the tax rate that was mentioned, it's actually at 112 right now. The tax rate for commercial businesses in 1998, if you go back 20 years, which is the last time, give or take, we had any increases, the rate was $24.93 per thousand valuation. Today, it's $24.37, a 2.2% drop. And while Councilor Caddy is correct, we are shifting 12% of the base, the pie, over to the businesses. 20 years ago, we were shifting over 30%. So we have cut the shift on businesses by a substantial amount. The valuations on businesses is also 51% higher today than it was 20 years ago, which is why their tax bill would be higher, because the valuations are far higher. But from a rate perspective, in congruence to the rates we charge at the Board of Health, they've actually dropped 2.5%. So for anybody out there, and I'm not saying Councilor Caddy stated this, for anybody out there who hears this and says that we're imposing these things on businesses in order to create an unfriendly environment, it's not the case. In fact, this is a more fair and equitable accounting system of how we provide services to certain businesses that we have in this city, where there are going to be decreases and increases across the board. Not everyone's going to get an increase. And we ensured with Mr. Curry and Ms. Holinkwell that they look at this every few years instead of every 20 plus, like any other department. So we avoid these sticker shock increases. But the nuts and bolts, the guts of this proposal make sense for what we do today, and they documented to us that in fact there are neighboring cities and towns in the area that are on par with what we're doing, although they charge a completely archaic way, if you ask me. So this is necessary for the food safety and security of the establishments and those who partake in them. And anybody who suggests, at least to me, that I am doing this to impose burdens on businesses, I want to remind those individuals that I have been the ardent advocate of a single tax rate, which is why the shift is now at 12%, not 31% like it was 20 years ago. And hopefully, in the next 5 or 6 years, it'll be down to 0. So they pay the same amount as residents. Thank you.
Counselor Donley.
Thank you. I want to commend the Board of Health for coming up with a new fee structure. I don't want to commend them for waiting 20 years. But I would like to have the council make a business decision, not a political decision. If some businesses have been saving for all these years, I think it's time to pay what they're supposed to pay, whatever it costs. It sounds like you've come up with a very fair fee structure, but I think we should be supporting the departments after they've done a, I would say, scientific or comparable cost to other communities. I don't think we should be making political decisions here, to feel-good legislation. So I support the original amount, not the change. Thank you.
I would just like to add that I like to see us move towards best practice. So if in fact the fee structure has to change so that we're not waiting 20 years to make changes, I'm adamantly for that. I think that best practice says that, yes, you should go back and, kind of do a self-audit on when things need to change so that we don't have, 400% being reported as an increase across the board. So, Councilor Zarella.
I'd just like to second or third the sentiment that I'm glad to see that we're moving to a fee structure that reflects the factors that actually impact cost rather than these sort of clumsy heuristics that have been used for a long time in all the communities in the area and that don't really have any correlation to actual cost or effort. I support the petition either as initially submitted or as amended. I do prefer it as amended because I do feel that a slightly cut rate with the promise of revisiting the issue in the very near future is a good compromise between the need to update so that we are recouping as much of our costs as is reasonable based on time and effort spent versus the need to not, as Councilor Giannatalli said, to avoid sticker shock. That way, we increase it to the 125 rate now. A couple years from now, maybe we bump it up to the full 200. But then it's a gradual process, and no one can accuse us of doing anything precipitous.
Thank you. Councilor Boschman.
I'm looking over the list, and I kind of agree with you, Marcus, but times have changed. And what I mean by times have changed, people don't go out to eat. They go out to the fast food restaurants and they pick up their food and they leave. So some of these places that were only paying $50 are making a heck of a lot of money because a lot of people don't eat there because they don't have the seating, number one. So they get away with a lot of different things. And I go again, the Board of Health had to spend a lot of time in their places. So the increases are justified because their establishment is increased because a lot of people are taking food out. They're not sitting down and eating there. They're driving up, they go inside Fitzroy J or whatever you want to call it, and they grab their food and they leave. And if you look at some of these prices, they make just as much as one of the customers do there. And I use Fitzroy J as an example. 90% of their business is fast food. And the truck that goes and to your house it comes. So the increases are right. I think we should keep it the way he worked it, the Board of Health. That's how I feel.
Counselor Dinatelli.
So my amendment leaves 99% of the proposed changes in place. The reason why I focused on level threes is because we have because of the amount of the increase as compared to the other establishments that are seeing it. Okay, so I'm not disagreeing that there are increases that might be necessary. And again, I'm trying to focus more on not what the increases or decreases are, but why are we changing the structure that therefore results in a decrease or an increase? Okay, this isn't an arbitrary increase. This isn't a subjective increase. And I want it made known that there are businesses throughout the city that will see a decrease. This is a realignment to modernize how we approach our fee structure in the Board of Health. And I look at it that way and not just say the businesses can take another $100 increase or whatever because they make money. I don't care if they make money. I want them to make money. That's not why I'm supporting this. Okay? Make as much money as you want. I'm just saying if that's what it costs to do business or close to it, then we should be more modernized with that structure. The reason why I cut it down from 200 to 125, I met it in the middle. It was 50 for a lot of these places, and it was going to go up to 200. I thought that was exorbitant, and I'm trying to be sensitive to the fact that businesses in our city particularly get creamed by Unitil every year, and they get hit with high sewer fees because of the unfunded mandate by our overlords at the EPA, all right? So I'm trying to be more receptive to that by making it 125 instead of 200. Without the thought that, in a couple of years, we're going to raise it to 200. I know Mr. Curry knows where I stand on that. That's not going to fly with me. But I don't think that businesses should be punished to that extent because we didn't do anything for the last 20 plus years. So I'm trying to meet people halfway here. I'm trying to recognize the impact on some of these businesses, but also acknowledging that it does cost more than $50 a year for us to do services there. And it doesn't matter if it's a takeout place. The health department explained to us it's how they prepare the food and how they manufacture it. A lot of these prepackaged establishments, they don't need their time there very often. It's prepackaged. There's no food prep on site. There's no manufacturing on site. So why should they pay more than a business that has that level of preparation and manufacturing? It's not a punishment. It's just that's where we spend our time. So I look at this as a reformation and a modernization. I don't look at this as punishment. But I'm trying to mollify both sides of the aisle by acknowledging that our costs for these establishments are higher than what they've been paying, but not to the extent that it was initially proposed because it's been over 20 years. Why go that high when we should do it more gradually if it's warranted, so it's not as big of a shock because we haven't done anything in 2 decades. That's all my opinion is on this. Thank you.
All right, so,
I have,
I'm sorry, Counselor Squalia.
I would move to amend the amendment with for the mobile food service is currently on here at $200 annually. And if we're lowering the level 3 and level 4 to 125 and 200, then I would like to amend the mobile food service from $200 to $150.
I will amend my motion to include that stipulation, to include that amendment.
Second.
Counselor Caddy, I'm looking to you. You made the original. Oh, okay. All right, so we have We need to read it as amended.
So
Oh,
amend to read that level 3, risk level 3 is 125
yep.
annually. Risk level 4 annually is 200.
Yep.
And then the mobile food truck service from 200 to 150.
Okay, so,
First.
okay, so we need to vote on the amendment first. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One in opposition?
Counselor Boishman and Counselor Caddy?
I was
Just
scratching my
Counselor,
head.
just Counselor
Move
Boishman.
2318 be granted as amended.
Second.
Sec.
I have a motion and second as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One in opposition. Thank you. Public Safety Oral Report that was held tonight. Petition 01913, Counselor Jody Joseph and Clem Contour to place a crosswalk at the corner of Jeffrey Street and Electric Ave. That was given leave to withdraw. Petition 11917, Counselor Paul Boishman to place a stop sign on Columbus Street at the intersection of St. Joseph Ave and Columbus Street, and also at the intersection of Oak Hill Road and Columbus Street. That was granted as amended.
Madam Chairperson, I move that we accept the Public Safety Committee
Second.
report.
Thank you. All right, moving forward, loan order.
We need to take a vote.
Take a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to approve the Public Safety Committee report. Nope, the Public Safety
Second?
report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm already moving forward to the loan order. 01718 loan order that $2 million be appropriated to pay cost of rehabilitation improvements and making extraordinary repairs to the school buildings as outlined in the enclosed loan order. This is a final reading and it is a roll call vote.
Move to grant 1718.
Second.
I have a motion and second to grant 01718. Madam Clerk?
Counselor Green?
Yes.
Counselor Caddy?
Yes.
Counselor Scalia?
Yay.
Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Counselor Zarella?
Yes.
President Kushmarek is absent. Counselor Boishman?
Yes.
Counselor Clark?
Yes.
Counselor Di Natale?
Yes.
Counselor Donnelly?
Yes.
Counselor Fleming?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. Orders Finance, 02718, ordered that,
02718 be given suspension of the rules.
Second.
I have a motion and second, 017, suspension. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move 2718 be accepted.
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept 02718. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Move 2818 through 3018 be sent to finance.
Second.
I have a motion and second for 028, 29, and 23018 be sent to finance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ordinance 0,
Move 3118 be sent to the planning board and a public hearing for April 3rd, 2018.
and I just need to make a statement that that planning board meeting is March 13th, 2018 for the planning board, and city council will hear the public hearing on April 3rd, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second to send ordinance to their outlined petitions or subcommittees. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Move 3218 be sent to finance and 3318 through 3718 be sent to legislative affairs.
I have, speaking to the motion, Counselor Caddy.
I'm uncomfortable sending these to legislative affairs. These are some pretty big issues that are facing the city. And if it goes to legislative affairs, I'm not on legislative affairs, I will not be able to express my opinion until it comes to the council, and it'll be like having a meeting over again. I would prefer to send this to the council as a whole, so everyone gets some input into this.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Councilor Caddy, do you also want 3218 be sent to council as a whole as well?
All of the petitions or ordinances pertaining to the marijuana laws.
I will change my motion to read 3218 through 3718 be sent to council as a whole.
Second.
I have a motion and second to send 3032 up to including 3718 to council as a whole. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Move 3818 through 4118 be sent to their respective committees.
Second.
I have a motion second to send petitions as following to their subjected subcommittees. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn.
All in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
Sorry.